So good afternoon. So I guess I'll just have recording for this session while you may come in anytime. So for this session, we will just be continuing for the previous lessons that we have, which is still under prelim. So we're done with the general codes of good animal husbandry practices. And now to continue with the Philippine National Standards, Bureau of Agricultural Food and Product Standards Code of the good animal husbandry practices. So we will just continue here on page 9. So the last time we stopped on records with records to include on page 9, which includes vaccination program and deworming. So I will just be giving you this video for you to watch later whenever you have available time. So aside from the records that you need from the previous, we have also need to consider the disease condition. No? So dapat may records kayo niyan. And the diagnosis and treatment, control measures, post-mortem findings, surveillance, and disposal. And also the farm should maintain updated records of the different medicines purchased and administration that should be readily available for inspection anytime na may inspection. So even the procurement records, dapat merong date ng purchase, name of the product, quantity na bili, the batch number, expiry date, and yung supplier. And also administration records should include the type of drugs or medication used, batch number, quantity ng medicine, date administered, route of administration, identification of animals or group treated, number of animals treated, date of completion of treatment, withdrawal period, and the name of the person who administered the medicine. So those are very important. And next, we have handling and restraining of animals. So why do you do this? Of course, para whenever you're going to market them or travel these animals, or whenever you have the treatment. So how to do handling and restraining them. So una, animals should always be handled and restrained in such a way that they are also protected from fear, stress, pain, and injury. Although it's very impossible to avoid this, but as much as possible, you know how to handle them. Now, if you are an animal caretaker or animal lover, then it comes naturally maybe. And by practice, of course, and by techniques. So second is appropriate facilities, equipment, and tools should all be provided with in handling and restraining. And also the appropriate tools should be used for the purpose of effective animal management. And the operators should acquire the skills and techniques to use the tools, of course. And tools should be used in a manner that minimizes stress and does not injure the animals. And tools should also be functional or, of course, efficient, no? Application of animals by the operators. So sick, injured, or disabled animals should be separated from healthy animals and should be given necessary veterinary attention para hindi mahawa yung ibang healthy animals, of course. And proper techniques should be applied to handle this restrained animals. So also stick, cane, or electric probe should not be used to restrain them. No, no. It may be used for worker safety when handling larger o naging aggressive sila, but not if they are tame. So aside from restraining and handling them now, there are also rules for transportation. Una, animals should be transported in a manner that does not cause stress throughout the journey and does not predispose them to injury or disease. So animals should be transported in appropriate vehicles and that provide comfort for them throughout the period of travel. And appropriate space, allowance, and ventilation should be provided during transportation. So on the previous figures, you have shown an ideal transportation environment for the livestock. So the transporter should also be fully responsible for the care and welfare of this animal, as well as ensure the cleanliness of the vehicle during the entire process ng transporting. The more if it is like for longer na travel, no? Disposal of waste should also be done in an environment friendly manner, hindi kahit saan lang, no? Especially the pollution. The transport of animals from point of origin to final destination should also be through most direct and appropriate route. Dili kay laglaag pag city, of course. We should be completed without unnecessary delay. And for long distance journey by land or inter-island, the transporter should be responsible for additional necessary requirements just to ensure the welfare of the animals. And animals should be transported in a coolest time of the day, hindi in the middle of noon time na masyadong mainit, particularly in the morning. And in cases wherein the establishment seeks the services of a second party to ship the live animals, the shipper should be properly informed of the recommendations stated from A to D. No? And movement permits and health certificates need to be acquired and should conform sa veterinary protocol imposed by the competent authority. No? So we also have animals being transported should be in good state of health, of course. However, yung mga stress sick and pregnant animals may be transported but with extra precautionary measures. And vehicles used for transport of animals should be according to the following specification. We have allow easy loading and unloading, has communication equipment and first aid kit, ensures safety of the animals and personnel during transport, and clean and sanitize equipped floors that provide secure footing. Dili kay ano siya na mabulasot. And have proper drainage, which also allow collection of urine, and have a decal or label live animal on board, no, at the sides of the front and back. So although hindi yan natin na-observe in the real situation, no, but this is actually the ideal way, no. You put live animal on board na label. And where appropriate, animals should be segregated according sa kanilang species, kung baka tanan, no, and size, para dili matumban tong mga gagmay. Of course, sex, kasi baka diha pa sila breeding and age. Animals also destined for slaughter should be rested for 6 to 12 hours upon arrival bago pa sila ihawin, no? Ganon. Para hindi sila psychological, kasi yung psychological stress sa animals also have an effect on the taste and quality ng ating animal meat. So, and animals should be transported during the coolest part of the day. No? And so, next is the biosecurity measures. The biosecurity procedure should be well implemented to prevent introduction of disease into the farm in order to control its spread within the farm. For example, if for chicken that are in co-ops or poultry houses buildings, the cages should be netted para ma-prevent yung entry ng mga migratory birds that can harm or attack them. And in cases of free-range chicken, control measures include putting them in cages where, while there are cases of avian influenza outbreak, to prevent them from commingling with migratory species as well. No? So the farm should also have a written protocol of biosecurity measures. Proper warning signage should be provided, and the implementation of biosecurity measures should be continuously monitored to assess the effectiveness of the program. And the farm should have the appropriate and functional layout and infrastructure to ensure effective implementation of the biosecurity measures. That would include for facilities for changing, washing, and shower. So, importante talaga na may tubig. And for disinfection of entry or exit point of the farm of the building. And care should be observed that all brought-in animals shall have undergone appropriate quarantine measures or treatment. For the farm sanitation program naman, the farm premise should be kept clean and free of potential conditions conducive to breeding of pests and animal parasites and disease outbreak para ma-avoid yung mga negative effects on the landscape environment and also as on the animal welfare as a whole. And organic materials should be regularly removed from all livestock contact surfaces, floors, pen partitions, and where bedding is used, may bedding pa talaga, no? It should be regular change or top up, no? Of course, animals can be more be more comfortable if they have, you know, some soft and comfy na mga clothings, no? And the farm should have a proper and functional drainage system, and the farm should have proper handling and disposal system for sick or injured and dead animals. So for environmental management naman, the farm operator should take necessary measures to ensure that activities related to livestock farming will not contribute to the degradation of environment that would include land, water, air, and cause destruction to our biodiversity, including yung mga microorganisms and so on. And solid and liquid waste should be managed, disposed according to the Ecological Solid Waste Management Act of 2000, no, to preserve the cleanliness of our environment. And dead animals should be buried properly. No? Some of us might, still eat the dead, no? Of course, freshly dead animals. So, but it's not really, it's not really recommended because we don't know the cause of the death or whatever. And vermin pest control should be managed accordingly. Kasi alam naman natin, no, pag yung mga ating mga peste or even rats may go anywhere na pwede nila yung nakuha nilang ng mga na bait or yung kanilang pesticide pwedeng scattered around some food, even our food, and then where it can be contaminated. So that would create problem or toxicity even to other animals and to the caretakers. So the farm operator should maintain and display clear instructions and procedure for disposal of farm solid waste and farm chemical waste, especially my expired pesticide, weedicide, and containers like paint, no? And the farm operator should be familiar with the proper procedure for disposal and schedule of actions to be taken, especially at times of emergency. So measures should be in place to keep noise from barns to acceptable levels. So hindi pwedeng saba rapod kaya. You know naman, if you're a caretaker, of course, if you just attend to your animal appropriately, so they will not make noise that to the point of noise pollution. Particular in the farm were located two urban centers. So hi Kier, actually ikaw lang sa nagsunod kanina si Jay, pero naghina siguro naghina iyahang signal. But Kier, if you don't feel well kasi I know nag-vaccine ka, so you can actually rest. No, nag-recording lang ko. This is recorded. Then you can watch later. So okay lang. Yeah, gikan tura man ka nag-inang nagtambal.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so actually okay lang, no? Kasi katulugon pa ka. So I just finished I'm just finishing this discussion on the Philippine National Standards on Good Animal Husbandry Practices. So actually, I think this would be the last page na. No, so just tell me if you wanna rest muna, okay? So as I have just said, I'm on the environmental management and I was just talking about yung mga solid waste management na it should be disposed properly. And the farm operator should be familiar ng mga proper procedure for disposal and schedule of actions to be taken, especially in times of emergency. So measures should also be to avoid noise pollution din, no? And then measures should be in place to keep at noise that could potentially affect growth and productive performance ng ibang animals, specifically around sa poultry brooder house. So, medyo maliit pa sila, or milking parlor kasi medyo sensitive yung mga cow if they are milking, or maternity and nursing pens, no? So hindi pwedeng maingay yung ibang hayop, no? So you have to attend to their needs if they need something. And then air quality is one important for health and well-being ng animals natin and those of humans also na nagmamanage in the farm. So we should have taken measure for air quality, especially yung mga gases, no? Maski ka na ganing ginagamit ako ng gas. Okay. So, and also, particulate matter. So we just don't know na makakause, like magsunog ta og mga goma or plastic, so that can be source of mga pollutants, no, na gases and airborne microbes. So like kung rotten ng mga bacterial debris, so medyo mabaho din siya in the air and in the farm, in the facility. So actually mabaho yun talaga ang ating no, animal farm. That's very normal, especially kasi because of the urine, and of course nagfa-fart food na sila and so on. And that's why the farm should be regularly monitored in terms of air quality. So there are I don't know, but siguro maanad na ka-care, no? Maanad na lang ka sa baho. Hi, Ruel. So actually nag-start na ako recording, Ruel, and I just finished the continuation ng previous discussion natin, no? And we will continue for the next after this. So as I have just said, we're talking about air quality in our farm. So yung farm natin should be maintained with conducive na air and smell, no? In acceptable levels, kasi hindi naman talaga maiwasan na mabaho talaga yung farm natin. And the farm should take appropriate measures para ma-minimize din yung excessive odor coming from the farm. Now, to do that, they say meron tayong tinatawag na kanang highlands. Nagsugod na lang ko ha para
Ma'am, sorry ma'am. Shoot man gud mig iro, ma'am. Busy ko, ma'am ba? Nag-shoot, ma'am. Nainag pa sa upa, ma'am ba? Sa mong iro, ma'am.
Modern na siya term. Okay, so.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so it's all right. If ever none of you will be available, then nag-record lang man ko, and I will give you the link para mamina na lang mo at your most convenient time, or whenever you're free. So I just finished yung continuation natin last time about the Philippine National Standards on GAP, no? And the last portion is etong air quality, and so i-minimize natin yung odor, especially from the farm, especially pag like waste decomposition, no? So yung mga waste materials in terms of animal waste or even microbial waste, manimaho yun na siya. That's part of degradation. So if we can minimize that by controlling their feeds, because there are feeds that can minimize odors, and also we can put a lot of charcoal or yung ano yun na, straws to do that para ano siya, neutralize ang baho. So there are ways to do that. And practices should be regularly checked for compliance and evaluation for effectiveness and doability in a regular basis. So in cases also na where provisions are no longer applicable, so merong mga amendment nito. But so far, wala pa naman silang pinalabas na amendments. So ito lahat ay talagang yung necessary measures when you do your farm. Although hindi naman talaga siya strictly ano kasi they don't have even time para i-check ito. So I guess I should leave it here and you just go back to the recorded link na bibigay ko sa inyo next time. So for this for the next topic we're going to have is under midterm na tayo on primary animal health care. So by the way, we will be starting with animal health and sanitation. And also nakalimutan ko. Animal health and sanitation, and also followed by that's 313 and 314 is dairy, I guess dairy. So next is poultry, which is 315. No. So we will start with the animal and the environment. So I already have sent this just a while ago, kanina. So you check your dashboard or yung inyong assignments, no? You should have received it this afternoon on animal health. Ito, animal and the environment. In fact, na-receive na nga ni ko. Kinsa nag-answer ano? So naka-answer na si Lance. Nilakaw na po si Lance na kuanan siguro to. So i-preview lang na ako ni siya. And these are, I guess, konti lang man ito. Okay, so this is about the animals and the surroundings around us. So this is actually, I got this from the Food and Agriculture Organization. So they have a published article on, not article, a module on animal health care, no? So in this unit, we should know why we keep animals. No, we keep animals to provide us with, of course, the food we need. That includes meat, milk, eggs, and even yung sheep wool and hair for clothing, ropes, and tents. So sa animals galing lahat yan. And hides and skin for leather. No, if mahilig kayo ng leather. Bones, hooves, and horn for a variety of uses. But especially yung mga animals which are already kanang naa siya I forgot the term pero hapit na mga extinct na mga animals or endangered species rather. So not really livestock, no? But it's for livestock, pwede pa kasi we are really producing them, no, for our purpose. So these are the objectives to know what animals are kept in our community, of course, for our milk and meat, and what are their use, and also in our community or village na healthy animals. So these are questions just that we really need to ask within our community. So yun nga, sabi nga ni common to care, no, sa inyong subdivision or any subdivision in our in our country, bawal jud ang mga animals, no? Even ang mga dog, although dog are allowed, but there are also villages na they don't allow dogs, no? Especially also in mga malls, supermarkets. So they really don't allow, but since but in other countries like in Germany, yung mga dogs actually, as long as they are kanang tagged, no, nasa lay tag, actually na nasa lay name, and dapat of course nasa lay kadena, no, they are being restrained. So even yung mga dogs nila have ano kanang train ticket, no, napod sa lay pamasahe, no, if you're going to bring dog. So sa atin naman sa Pilipinas, we can bring them up in our, of course, in our subdivision, in our villages, or somewhere in the park, as long as they are restrained, no, na sila yung mga hikot for safety, of course. So if you want to be a primary animal health care worker, so like being an animal producer, for example, or just for caretaker, so kailangan alam mo yung anong klaseng animals are kept in the people in the community, and also discover sino yung mga animal tao na nagkikip ng animals and what type of animals they're keeping. Just like kay si Lance, mahilig siya sa dog, di ba? And what animals are used for? Of course, alam natin yan since we were young. No? So I don't think we have to elaborate that further. And how good are your animals? So there are amazingly, there are animals that you can train, no? Especially dogs.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi, Ronel.
Hapon.
Na ba kay ano? Agree man. Mamaya pa tayo sa 8 p.m.
Ano po, ma'am?
Sa Agree 1, mamaya pa tayo sa 8 p.m.
Sige. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Sorry, but I'm using the same link kasi. So, pwede kang mag-pasok. But we are still
Yes.
having another class.
Okay, ma'am.
8 p.m.
Okay, ma'am. Excited lang ko. Excited.
Oo, pag dinner sa.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And also, Ma'am Annalyn, sorry, nag-remind lang ko, but ay, Ma'am Annalyn, ano ka, animal science or Agri 1?
PSOM, PSBAOM po, ma'am.
Huh? Sorry, sa animal class ni.
Sorry, sir.
Sige. So, as I have just said, sorry, pag imo man gud ako og mga schedule, ako ra pud siyang tawag na personal, kasi na may personal ID sa imuhang Zoom. So gigamit lang ko na ako ang personal ID. Then not thinking na this would happen in the future, no? So siguro, I don't know, pwede na ako i-change na po ang battery. Maybe next time dapat ibang meeting code dapat para walay laing makasulod. Although okay lang naman, pero basig masaag magulang uban. Kadali lang ha. Hey, yeah. Charger. Nagsugod na ta? Yeah, fail. Lobat mo. No, I cannot. Okay, go. Pasta. Wala na. Go na. Okay, so as I just have said, to continue with our discussion, yeah, I'm still there, no? Okay, so to continue with our discussion, there are animals that can be trained, or there are even talking birds, no? Sige na siya, parrot, no? That can really speak. So nakanog naman siguro mo ana here, no? Nawala na po si Ruel. And
Yes, ma'am.
yes, so sayang, pa-discussion pa naman on tamo this time, but since you're not feeling well, okay, so next time na lang, no? And so you should know the capability of we should know the capability of our animals, no? Not only in terms of providing us with the food that we need, such as milk or meat. So it's also better that to know or to compare kung anong klase din palang mga animals or breeds yung nandoon sa neighboring communities or regions. So mahilig tayo niyan like sabungero imong papa, no, or of course papa man ang sabungero. Kasi my father is also sabungero po siya sa una, no? Ilang pud pala hubog. So mahilig po siya mag-collect, no, ng mga different breeds of kanang pag anong mga cockfighter ba tawag na. So how do they differ in your neighboring community? So you want to compare and you want to also have, so same po na siya sa mga plantita and plantitos. And communities or regions, neighboring regions that also keep different types of animals. So for example, you have cow in one region na mas better pala in terms of meat and milk production. So you should also consider to compare your livestock in other neighboring communities and talk to them and other prominent health animal care. And then, so you could also have opportunity na makipag-breed, no? And ano yung mga health problems nila, so baka mas maganda talaga yung in terms of management, no, or in terms of breeds of types and the type of problems that na pwedeng ma-discover. They would include yung bakit animals may die suddenly, no? Or yung young animals natin are born sick or dead. So they could be genetic or maybe stress yung ating nagbubutis na animals, and leg and foot problems. They could be dahil makatayo, skin troubles, no? There are diseases or pwedeng bakit ang color iba? Animals that do not increase in weight through time. That could be, and also livestock suffer ng mga worms, ticks, or lice. So, mga ganun. And yung milk, animal others ng pwede maghubag, swollen, and merong blood sa milk. So that is another problem. And if our chickens maybe stop laying eggs or bigla na lang namatay. So there are many health problems that you could talk to your community and discover even in mga neighboring communities, no? So, and also, therefore, you should also have a good contact with veterinarian, no? Alam mo dapat kung sino mga veterinarian in your city or in your surroundings or in your community, and so they can help you with this. And also, you keep an animal health record for your community, no? But not really necessarily, pero if you are an in-toto health worker or animal caregiver, so it's better that you have health record, but at least knowing them, and you can immediately remember, no? Kasi di naman lahat ng tao talaga. So there are only specific persons that are doing things like you. So make a record if possible, and it's better. And discover note or problems, and you can talk to the owner of the animal. So that particular problem, time of the year, season, or a lot of information. So again, keep an animal health record in your community. So part of animal health care is to, of course, mag-outside dito. Pero your back naman, well. So part of being in health sanitation is also the environment, no? The plants, water, soil, climate is all related and are needs of the animals also. So therefore, hindi pwedeng madaming animals na hindi na kaya ng ating environment to support them. So we only keep a limit, and also do not ignore facts in terms of management ng health problems ng ating livestock, no? And damage to the local environment. Kasi pwede nga tayong mahawaan, no? So this will be our learning objectives for this lesson. And we should know problems which can result from keeping too many animals. Of course, it's just like people sick with virus, no? And if these animals are suited to your environment and also to your needs, so but then if you are really just a normal animal collector or enthusiast, so it doesn't matter actually. And also different breeds or types of animals that are kept in your community, and also areas of the community's land which have been damaged by animals. So may mga ganon ding mga instance. So these are some of the breeds or types of animals around the world that has specific also na ano. So we have so in keeping animals, we should also take into consideration the feed, water, and climate, no? The factors of keeping them in a particular place or region, and variety of animals breeds throughout the world. So those are things that we need to be very familiar with, no? For example, in England, no, the sheep, or anywhere in the kahit sa kanang Middle East, so we have a lot of sheep there. So they use this as their protection, no? Although madami silang fleece, no? Sa kanilang wools, so these are very important protection from cold climate, and also if it's very hot. That's why the sheep have light hairy coats only compared to sheep. So in terms naman of cow, they can produce a lot of milk if they have good grasslands. So that's why in Australia, in New Zealand, no, they have a very they have a vast grasslands, no? So and cool weather conditions, which are very appropriate for the production of milk in cows. And also in India, there are Sahiwal cattle which are good milk producers sa hot tropics. So just comparing a Friesian and a Sahiwal. And pigs in China are also fed on food which mainly mga roughages, and so they have a pot belly food type, no? And but in sa mga European pigs, they are fed with grain, so they have leaner bodies. So that could be differences. So remember that the livestock in the community develop over a long time. are already accustomed to your environment. Kaya it's also possible that you introduce a new variety. Not just like on the previous, not really in this subject, but yung ating dairy, we have a lot of buffalo breeds na galing sa ibang country and binid natin sa native natin para kasi ang ating breeds kasi sa buffalo hindi masyadong maganda kumpara doon sa ibang bansa. So we've been importing breeds from other countries and breed them with our native buffalo para ma-enhance ang ilahang genetic characters. And so this must be carefully considered. Introduction of new breeds to an area, and but from a knowledgeable person or source. Kasi baka ano lang tayo, we should study it well kasi baka we are just wasting time, money, and effort kasi there are also breeds that are not really suitable in a particular environment. So what now is the number of animals kept in the community? So long that it is, it will not exhaust the natural resources, no? And so there are ideal limit on that. And also if pag old na or barren, labi na sa ato no nga kana, like for dogs, we are really very sentimental kasi for us, dogs are best friends. So hanggang mamatay na lang yun sila atong ginakip. But we should not keep animals which are already old or barren, as they will also eat the feed na sana for young animals, but this is in terms of livestock naman. So but for example for dog, it's a different story. So before kung sobra kasi kung sobra din kasing old or ang animals which are for meat sana, dili na to patigulangan kay gahi na to na ilang meat and gahi na pud kaunon, So again, you should consider number of animals kept in your community. Kung enough pa ba ang feeds, water available throughout the year, and you can discuss it with community. That's why we have feed provider, and so they can also source out a lot of available feeds for your farm. So i-control yung planning lang livestock numbers and availability ng good feed and water as a primary animal health workers. So there are also problems of overstocking or too many animals. So if we do not maintain the number of animals in relation sa available feed and water, so anong mangyayari? Of course, dili enough ang feed, then they will lose weight and become sick, and the disease will spread as fast, and animals cannot breed well, so they could die young or occur more deaths, and overgrazing and loss of pasture, bushes, and trees is if madaming animals. So just like what happened it's a different kind of story, pero I have just remember now I'm sorry, I forgot. But long time ago in Mexico, I don't know, was it Pablo kanang known kaayo nga drug lord sa Mexico? I don't know if you are familiar well and here, so nabasa lang muna ko siya. So actually sa iyang kadato, but he already died, and tanan na ano niya na confiscate actually yung mga ari-arian niya kasi he's really very rich because of drugs, and part of that nagkaman siya yung zoo. So katong mga gipangdala niya nga, I just forgot the kind of animal. It's not common kasi sa lang siya sa Africa na po. Okay, ito. Now what happened is that napabayaan iyang zoo. So katong particular animal gikan sa Africa, nanaghan siya sa iyahang zoo, no, na without anyone looking after it, kasi wala jud niya, wala naman ko magpa-relate sa iyahang kay dakon man sa government. So what happened, imbalance of what do you call that, ecosystem. So ang katod ito nga nakalimut, sorry, I will just go back to you later if I remember. Kanang nga na animal, mangaon siya og kanang natural po niya animal sa Mexico. So ang nangyari, nanaghan to nga type of animal which have no use to the community, pero katong animals nga ginakaon nila naanay ka ng threat for extinction, no? So that actually happens. Therefore, this we can also, too much animal in our community can also result to loss of vegetation and even erosion on our good soil or loss of land. So talk to our elders in our community kasi medyo sila may alam dun sa ating history, ano ang mga changes sa environment and what caused them, and paano natin ma-improve ang ating environment and resources. So if you have questions or clarifications, you can speak anytime or just open your mic. And we also have to study the animal body. So we understand the physiology of animal system or processes, which is mostly pareho ra pud sa tao, no? We have the same organs, processes and systems of the body. So part of taking care of our animals is also knowing our body system, their body system pala. So what are the organs of animal body? So of course, like any other organisms, they are made up of many millions of cells, no? Although we cannot see them without a microscope, but all these cells will come together. So we have skin, diba? And these are all made up of cells, which makes up our what do you call that? Muscles, or we have a specific kasi sa or derma, no? Dermal system, or and then to make an organ, and this organ is already a combination of these cells and structure. So we have 10 minutes for this subject left, and once we're done with the 45 minutes, so please go back to the same link again for the next subject. If you Ruel, na ba ka tanan subject sa major sa Ansay?
Yes, ma'am, naa, ma'am.
Okay, so these organs are the one with a combination or structure that are complex na, which have a special job, no? Just like humans do. And these are consist of a lot of organs that work together now, without which we cannot function, or the animal body cannot function very well. So they have 9 systems. We have the musculoskeletal system, of course, digestive system, circulatory, respiratory, urinary, nervous, sensory, reproductive, at lymph-reticular, which are, of course, almost the same with the humans. So in this chapter, we were going to learn sa mga functions ng organs na ito, and ano yung saan natin sila makikita in different animals, and ano yung structure and how the system works. So what are organs? Again, complex structure na merong special job or number of jobs to do. That includes, for example, eye is the organ of sight, and the kidneys are the organs which get rid of water and poisonous materials from the body, as urine, or siya yung pang-cleansing ng ating body. That's why we should take care of our kidneys. Do not drink a lot of alcohol. I know liver pala yun. has many jobs also which are involved in more than one system. So the liver, yung mostly affected if we are not healthy much, no? We don't eat healthy foods. So too much salt, for instance, or too much sugar, for instance, can also make our kidneys and liver work harder to for that. So hi Argel, laag na po ka Argel.
Wala man, kalimot ko na nandito yung klase ron, sorry.
Ay sa langgit na magklase. So anyway, it will just take 45 minutes every meeting natin per subject. So mga like almost 2 hours lahat, no, for 3 subjects. So we've been talking na about the different organs of the animals. So it's very important to understand them. So we know how to cure them properly, no? And we've been talking about liver and kidney for a while. So these various organs are grouped together to form a body system which carried out a special job. I don't know if it's very clear in your screen, but let me just read this to you. So sa musculoskeletal, of course, this include our naman muscle, which are used for meat and bones. No, they of course support and the body. So it's really very important yung bone at saka calcium for our bone kasi that make the animals really stand well, no, and to do their purpose in whatever activities they do, they have to do. And for digestive naman, of course, that includes the stomach, the liver, intestine, and pancreas, no, for digestion and absorbing the food or feeds. And for circulatory naman, that includes the heart, the blood vessels, yung mga arteries. So the blood supposedly carries substances around the body. So it needs oxygen to carry the blood, no? And that's why we need iron in our body. And under urinary naman, that includes kidneys and bladder. So to get rid of poison and waste. So it's our cleansing hour. Sige lang hug hour, no? But we have the same then. Now for animals, it's for ginasala nila ang mga waste. No, that's why gina-excrete siya as waste. And I guess I skipped respiratory. That includes the muzzle, windpipe, and their lungs for breathing, of course. Without breathing, of course, patay, no? And urinary and nervous. So nervous system, of course, like humans, that includes the brain, the nerves, the spinal cord, which actually the one controls everything, no? Even we say the emotion of animals are still controlled by the brain. Everything is controlled in the brain. So sometimes you don't say, my heart says I love you, ganon. So because it's actually your brain that controls it. Yeah, but baby, ihina ang volume. And this will pass messages around the body, and as I have just said, will control everything in the body. So, kaya nga, yung yung kanang amnesia, dili, ang sige nga sakit sa pagkatigula. Sige na, Argel? Something like amnesia. Oh my God, amnesia ho na ko. Basta na sakit, di ba, kung kalimpanan na ta, in old age na siya. So actually, it's a brain disease when you are old, and the moment that you forget, kasi that's forgetfulness, and the moment you forget, then that's the time also that even breathing or makalimot ka ginhawa. So that's why you die. Kaya nakalimot imong brain o ginhawa, no? So, but the good news is when you always use your brain a lot, no? I-train mo imong brain, you always study something new, you do something new and so on. So that could that could prevent. I almost remember it, pero nakalimutan gyapon na ako. So anyway, then next is sensory, your eyes, your ears, your nose, your skin. And so this controls the senses of the animals, no? Detect things outside the body. And sometimes the animals, although tayo yung higher primates, but the animals are even better than us in terms of senses, no? Like there are animals that cannot see, but they can sense energy, like the snake, no? So reproductive, that includes the testes, ang mga itlog nila, penis, ovaries, uterus, vagina gyapon ang tawag nila. So pantay-pantay ra ninyo, vulva, udder, and this is of course for reproduction and feed the young. So all animals, actually even human and all living organisms, our main function is just to procreate, no? Reproduce, and to perpetuate our generation, so mga lahi. So actually they don't know that they are being controlled by us, although of course they have we have mutual understanding with our animals. And maybe kabalo na sila, nakauno na po nato sila. But then for them, their life is just for reproduction. But for humans, in comparing, we have the so-called social aspect, we have spiritual aspect, kasi we have higher thinking skills compared to animals. So, and the last is lymph node reticular, no? Yung mga lymph nodes, spleen. So we're not so familiar with this, but these are actually their protection against infectious diseases and for the production of blood. Now, actually, one by one, we have the musculoskeletal system. By the way, we're less than a minute, so if we're done, if it turns off, mag-out na siya,